I'm very pleased to see you here on the occasion in which we are celebrating the launch of CV IELTS. The British Council delivers over 3 million IELTS tests around the world each year, and demand is growing exponentially. So we're here tonight to tell you about a new initiative that improves the service and the accessibility of the test to those future candidates. I want to stress to you that the British Council is committed to continuous improvement of our range of services for our customers. So for IELTS to be available by computer as an option is a significant step forward in offering flexibility as well as convenience for candidates. For a more detailed look at computer-delivered IELTS, I'm now going to pass you to Rob Lowe. Let me introduce you to Rob. Rob has very recently joined us at the British Council, Sri Lanka.
Now, all three of these organisations have extensive experience in language testing and test delivery across the globe. The British Council and IDP focus on test delivery, with Cambridge English Language Assessment focusing on test production, development, research and analysis. The IELTS portfolio consists of 3 products. The main product within the portfolio is IELTS, which is on the left of your screen. This test consists of one of either 2 modules, the academic module or the general training module, and it is this test which is being offered through computer delivery. The other 2 products within the portfolio are the IELTS for UKVI and IELTS for Life Skills. So I'd like to look briefly at what IELTS actually does. So the test is designed to give an accurate and relevant assessment of language ability for those who intend to work or study in English language countries. The test is designed to be culture-free, so that it gives the same results whether you take the test in London or whether you take it here in Colombo. IELTS has always covered the essential skills for global mobility, and it is a test of communicative proficiency. It does this through real-life tasks which reflect real language use, both for academic purposes and everyday social and work experiences. And since its launch in 1989, IELTS has pioneered English language testing by measuring the ability to communicate across each of the 4 skills areas: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. The model of English that is tested is standard and international. It's a model which sets out to be accessible to test takers from all around the globe, and this is achieved by minimizing cultural or linguistic bias. So that means there is no content which requires an awareness of cultural aspects peculiar to some parts of the world, for example, gardening in the UK. Test items are written by teams from around the world, and these items are rigorously checked and monitored globally for accessibility. And in the listening and speaking sections, test takers are likely to come across accents from all around the world, English of course being an international language. The currency of IELTS is intelligibility. And IELTS is a high-stakes test, one which has a one-to-one speaking component, and the test taker interacts with a real person. And this gives receiving organisations assurance that real-life communication has been tested. I'd like to move on now briefly, just looking at the recognition and the popularity of IELTS. Since its launch in 1989, IELTS recognition has continued to increase across the globe. IELTS results are now accepted by around or over 10,000 institutes across the world, 3,000 or over 3,000 of which are from the USA. And this growth has come from education providers using the test on entry and exit in their institutes, employers using the test for recruitment purposes, and governments and professional associations using it for registration and membership. Last year was also a groundbreaking year for IELTS, in which more than 3 million tests were delivered across the globe, and this has made IELTS now the most popular English language test in the world. Looking at the format of the IELTS test, the first 3 steps of the test include the listening, reading and writing sections, and these parts of the test take up to 2.5 hours, and they happen consecutively, one after the other. And for computer-delivered IELTS, all 3 components are inputted directly onto a computer. The speaking test happens separately. This may happen on the day of the test, or up to 7 days before, or 2 days after the test. And as mentioned before, the speaking component is face-to-face with a trained, experienced examiner. The IELTS band scale, which is used to assess the level of English of the test taker, has been around for over 25 years. The most relevant bands for candidates tend to be between 5 and 7, from partial user to operational command of English. It's generally unusual for employers or educational institutes to set requirements at band 8 above, unless English is a prerequisite for that job, such as speech therapists, journalists, English teachers, etc. Now to move on to the main part of this session, looking specifically at computer-delivered IELTS.